Socrates choosing to drink the poison hemlock rather than live an unexamined life is one of the most celebrated choices in the Western philosophical tradition. But could Socrates have genuinely chosen not to drink the hemlock? The raising of the poison cup was, after all, just one event in a long causal sequence stretching back to the birth of the universe, with every micro-event along the way foreclosing the possibilities, one by one, of any future in which Socrates did not drink the fatal cocktail. When we step back and adopt what Thomas Nagel calls the outside view, the objective third-person scientific perspective, it appears like everything that happens occurs necessarily because of the events that preceded it. Our internal experience, what Nagel calls the inside view, of an open world with genuine alternative possibilities, clashes with our scientific understanding of the world. Did Socrates genuinely choose the examined life over the unexamined life? Did the jurors have any real choice but to convict him? Was there some possible universe where some atoms swerved this way instead of that way, and the resulting cascade of determining events fell differently? Or was every neural activation pattern in Socrates' brain as he raised the hemlock determined by every moment that preceded it? In Module 1, the Beardsleys probe the intuition that our everyday belief in criminal punishment ultimately depends on the fundamental philosophical belief in the existence of free will. If the criminal never had a choice in the matter, then how was punishment anything but pointless cruelty? Yet even the choice of whether or not to punish the criminal is questionable. Our verdict was determined by the same causal sequence as the crime itself. Are we puppets condemning other puppets for the crime of having strings? Stephen M. Cahn, channeling Clarence Darrow, lays out the dilemma in the language of a logical syllogism. Premise 1. No action is free if it must occur. Premise 2. For every event that occurs, antecedent conditions, known or unknown, ensure that event's occurrence. Conclusion, therefore, no act is free. The conclusion follows necessarily from the premises. Escaping the conclusion means we must deny one of the premises. If we reject premise 1, we are left with compatibilism, the view that freedom doesn't require the possibility of alternative outcomes, that it is enough that the actual world changes when we will it to change. Rejecting premise 2 gives us libertarianism. The real world is shot through with indeterminacy, an array of possibilities that lie open to us, and we are creators of our fates rather than mere spectators. Or we bite the bullet of hard determinism and accept both premises. Science demands that effects reliably follow from causes. If the causal chain were not an unbreakable fact of the world itself, then knowledge would be impossible. This is how prediction works. The deterministic clockwork isn't a prison, it's a technology. What would a universe of truly uncaused free choice actually look like? As Thomas Nagel points out, we already experience the world as if it contains genuine alternative possibilities. It's only when we shift from the subjective first-person perspective into the objective third-person perspective that reasons to doubt this experience emerge. We can tell the neurochemical story, just as we tell the story of bat echolocation, but this tells us nothing about what it feels like to exert agency from the inside. The more we move away from the subjective world of immediate experience, the more we approach what Nagel calls the view from nowhere, a hypothetical standpoint of complete objective neutrality. Our understanding of freedom seems suspended in unresolved tension between the first-person and third-person perspectives. What if we grant freedom its ultimate wish, to be utterly unchanged from the causal history of the universe? Our understanding of the physical is always changing. One of these changes has been the paradigm shift, away from the deterministic Galilean clockwork of classical physics and toward our contemporary model of quantum indeterminacy. Does this validate our internal first-person sense of authentic free choice? Nagel is skeptical. A random quantum swerve seems arbitrary, a bit of chaos jamming the gears of inevitability. But it isn't a choice. You don't choose quantum randomness. This isn't the right sort of indeterminism, the sort that leaves open the possibility that we really do cause change in the world. A roll of the dice is no better than a foregone conclusion, and a universe without cause is no more free than a universe that is causally determined. Compatibilists have attempted to square this circle by arguing in various ways that our concept of free will is perfectly compatible with a deterministic universe, so long as we are careful about our definitions of necessity and liberty. According to David Hume's analysis of causation, we find no necessary connection in nature, only constant conjunction, a regular pattern of one event following another. There is a tendency to treat the relationship between our internal mental states and external bodily states differently, but experience reveals the same patterns of regularity here as well. we experience the desire to raise our hand, and this desire is reliably followed by the physical hand raising. This, according to Hume, is all that we have ever meant by liberty. That willing a change in the world be followed by an actual change in the world. The dispute between liberty and necessity is purely verbal. What we mean by the term liberty is not exemption from universal law, but freedom from coercion. No one forces us to raise our hand, and no external force stops it from raising. The hand reliably raises when we want it to. This is all that necessity means for Hume. And our action flows from our intention and is not coerced, which is all that liberty requires. When we look at how we actually use our terms, we can see that liberty and necessity were never really at odds in the first place. We know what being free looks like, because we've seen enough of what the lack of freedom looks like. We want to raise our hand, and the hand raises. What more should we ask for? W.T. Stace fleshes out Hume's compatibilism by clarifying the distinction between actions that are internally caused and actions that are externally caused. What matters is not whether an action is caused, but how it is caused. When our actions flow from our internal desires, beliefs, and values, then we are free. Causal determinism isn't something that needs to be escaped. To ask to be metaphysically exempted from the causal history of the universe is to ask to be supernatural, to be utterly alien to everything we know about the operation of the world. Why should we hold ourselves to a standard we hold nothing else to? Harry Frankfurt specifically targets the principle of alternative possibilities, or PAP, as the source of confusions regarding free will and moral responsibility. We typically assume that moral responsibility requires the existence of genuine alternatives. If Socrates had no choice but to drink the hemlock, then it seems odd to praise him for the moral courage of the act. But according to Frankfurt, our choice to perform one action rather than another carries moral weight regardless of whether we actually had a genuine possibility of acting differently. To illustrate this, Frankfurt imagines cases where a subject believes that they have an open choice between two real possibilities. But this belief is false. An external agent has rigged the system so that in fact only one real choice is actually available. Frankfurt's question is this: if you make a choice under the assumption that you could have acted otherwise, are you morally responsible for that choice, even if the alternative was never really available? Frankfurt believes that you are. The fact that your choice followed from your internal motivations is the only relevant detail. The presence or absence of alternative possibilities doesn't factor into the ultimate moral responsibility. Examples like this have become known as Frankfurt-style cases. Patricia Churchland extends the compatibilist intuition by reframing the distinction between internal mental causes and external physical causes through her neurophilosophical approach. Churchland argues that freedom isn't about escaping causal determinism. That's impossible. Brains are causal machines. But within that framework, we possess the ability to control our actions by degrees, to nudge them one way rather than another. This ability has nothing to do with motivations or desires, and everything to do with neural activation patterns and the physiochemical properties of embodied brains. We can measure the mechanisms of self-control in the prefrontal cortex and weigh our responsibility for our actions against our neurological ability to select some behaviors over others. The attribution of moral responsibility, in Churchland's view, serves as a guardrail to ensure social cohesion and stability. Society relies upon the fundamental principle that transgressors are punished for their transgressions. Critics of compatibilism point out that freedom from coercion doesn't seem like what we mean when we talk about agency. We don't mean negative freedom from coercion. We mean positive freedom to choose this option over that option. From the perspective of the free will libertarian, the compatibilist is merely playing games with words to conceal the fact that they have ultimately conceded the debate to the determinist. In the next lecture, we'll expand on the determinist worldview using the metaphor of Laplace's demon. And I'll see you there.